Hi everyone, what's up? I had this weekend. I had actually a busy one, like a really busy weekend with lots of recordings going on. Too many videos, one after the other, doing lots of edits, and installing all of these videos into my learning portal where I am hosting my business coaching program, 8 So yeah, then I thought in the evening, in fact, I was like extremely exhausted. I went to the gym in the morning today. Usually I go in the afternoon, and I had a couple of meetings during the day, and by the time evening came, I was really exhausted, and I wanted to sort of, design in like a flow chart pattern for my upcoming masterclass, which is the greatest abundance secret. But then I was like so exhausted, I just couldn't like get out of my bed and start putting things down on paper, which is what I usually like to do. I usually really love to bring out all my ideas into paper, and I completely don't believe in keeping ideas in the head. People, what they do is they keep ideas in the head, they keep thoughts in the head, even thoughts, simple thoughts like, let me write this post. I want to write this post about, let's say, nutrition, or a post about growth, or a post about abundance, and people keep thinking, they don't write it down. And I like to write down every single thing, every single idea that I have in my head. I like to put it down on paper. And that is how I stumbled upon this model of thinking called the deliberate thought building, DTB, in the beginning of my career as a therapist as well as a coach. When I was doing a lot of trauma work, what I found is people could not think the thoughts that they wanted to think, right? For example, I want to get out of my bed, go to my table, and prepare for my next upcoming, let's say, webinar, or prepare for my next client. I want to go through the notes that I had with them in the last session, that I made notes in the last session. And today I want to go through them, for example, if I have my next session tomorrow. But I'm unable to move out of my bed and actually go and look at those notes. It's very, at a word level, it's very simple. Getting out of your bed, going to your table, looking at those notes, reading them, barely taking 15 to 20 minutes, but that's like unpullable. Like you can't pull that task. It's not possible. Why does that happen? That happens because there are so many things that drag us back, right? All of these things that drag us back are what? Are residues of traumatic experiences. Oftentimes, exhaustion or tiredness. By the way, you might just hear sound music coming from the background. That's my partner preparing salad for dinner and music on full volume. So I was saying that, it's very difficult because there are residues of trauma which are trapped, embedded in the body. And sometimes exhaustion, sometimes burnout, feelings of deep tiredness doesn't need to come from a lot of hard work. Like I had a tiring day because, there were so many things I did throughout the day. But it's possible that I might find myself from an afternoon nap, waking up at around 4:30, preparing my schedule at 5:30 p.m. in the evening, and I just cannot pull myself out of bed to do that simple task of going to my table and looking at those notes, or putting down an idea on paper. I can't do that because my body might have residues of traumatic experiences, right? There might be past traumas, not only in my childhood, but also probably in my adolescence. My body has learned to cope with those traumatic experiences by shutting down, by numbing out, by freezing. It's possible that I have grown up in a family which is all the time critical about my actions, about what I feel, about what I behave, things I do. And I have learned to deal with all those critical comments by simply shutting down, numbing out. So when today, probably years later, today when my environment demands a lot out of me, my body goes into the same mechanism of shutting down, of numbing out. Sometimes we feel so frozen in our life that we just cannot move. And the non-movement translates in our not being able to move out of bed, not being able to, get out of this chair that I'm sitting right now and go to the washroom and wash my face. I can't do that because I'm in a state of, frozenness. People don't freeze just like that, right? There's a chronic freezing happens over a long period of time when people simply disassociate from those parts in their environment which could be threat, which could be an extremely abusive environment, right? Which could be, coming from a place wherein you have grown up listening to all sorts of threats, all sorts of abuses, all sorts of, disappointing words that make you question your self-worth, words that, make you feel embarrassed about yourself, words wherein you go into deep shame, are not just words. Probably your body has learned to shut down all the shouting and the screaming that just goes on and on and on in your environment for a very, very long time, and that's how you cope. Today, your body is exhausted because that's what the natural function of the body is, So many people would earlier, when I was doing a lot of childhood trauma work, I'm still doing intergenerational trauma work, by the way, and they would come with feelings of exhaustion, feelings of wanting to do the work, but then still not being able to pull themselves off. They are not distracted, by the way. They are not scrolling through Facebook, or they are not scrolling through Instagram, or mindlessly moving through YouTube. No, they are not doing that. They want to do the work. But at the same time, there are things inside them that they are unable to understand. Years and years of burnout, years and years of exhaustion, years and years of physical body pain, which has penetrated into their somatics, right? That's how trauma works. How do we deal with trauma? We deal with trauma by shutting down, by numbing out, by dissociating, by freezing, by going into shock, by withdrawing into our own inner core, or exiling from our body. That's how we cope. And all of these things basically create segregations and separations inside our body, right? As a result of which a lot of energy goes in letting those parts which are not aligned, which are segregated, which are separated, in keeping those parts together with us. Right? And that's the reason why many of us may not be able to exactly pinpoint what we are thinking. I had a question the other day coming in my DM wherein someone said that, I know, Gaurav, you are doing an upcoming masterclass on thought model, basically accessing our thoughts and how these thoughts basically manifest and create the reality that you want to create. And in this class, I'm specifically going to talk about money reality, abundance reality, wealth reality. But then what about times when we do not have access to our thoughts? And I said that that's a very valid question, because you may not have access to your thoughts. Sometimes I don't know what I am feeling. And I don't know what I am feeling because things are mixed up. Things are in some sort of weird concoction, or some parts of my thinking body, some parts of my feeling body are dissociated because of traumatic experiences. And that is why when I do coaching, when I work with people, even when I'm working with a group of 500 people, I just don't question their thoughts. When someone tells me that I can't do this, Gaurav, I don't go and inspire and motivate them that, but you have to do this, it's your job, and how can you not do it? I would try to look into the feeling which comes up when you try to do it. Every resistance is a feeling that we don't address. And when we go and go hunting for that feeling, we often find it in the body. We don't find it in our thinking brain. We find it inside our body. And when we make that journey of finding out that feeling inside the body, we often find that either that feeling is a borrowed feeling, somewhere from the environment, from other people, from friends, from mentors, from trainers, from parents, from teachers, from people who have been abusive at office, from bosses, from colleagues. Or these feelings come from somewhere in the past, which have no relevance to the present time. But because the body is so used to reacting in that way, the body keeps on repeating and recapitulating the same feeling. And that's what the difference is between any other coaching, which simply focuses on, getting your goal out there and moving towards that goal. That's what coaching mostly is. But in the kind of coaching that I do, even the kind of coaching that I do in ATEPs, the coaching is focused on being trauma informed. We actually go on journeys to find where the root feeling is. Because at the end of the day, the only problem because of which we are not able to do certain things that we want to do is a feeling, right? Either we don't want to feel something, or we feel something and then we don't feel good about it, right? That's the thing. Because of all the years of trauma work that I have done on myself, I am today able to access my thoughts. So when I'm having a thought which is not helpful, for example, I was exhausted. I knew I was exhausted because of the whole day. Even if I now go and write down what I want to do, I'm still not going to produce quality work, right? I was aware of that thought. And therefore, I didn't go into self-blaming that you are not being productive enough, or you are not doing the thing that is written in your timetable. Probably I'll have to do it tomorrow. That is the price I will pay. But at this moment, my nervous system needed that rest. But for me to conclude that I needed that rest, that I need to slow down, that I need to simply lie down in bed and have the capacity to come live here and talk to you people. To develop that capacity, I needed that stretch of time. I needed that slowness. I needed that, creation of space inside my body. And I could allow myself that without self-blaming, without criticizing myself, without going into these blame and guilt cycles within me where I keep on beating myself up for not achieving something that I thought I should achieve. I could do that because I am able to access my thoughts. I am able to discern my thoughts from thoughts that produce anxiety and thoughts that allow me to rest. The same thought that I am not working, that I am resting, that I am lying down in bed can also produce anxiety for a lot of people who may have gone through traumatic experiences where they were made to feel that they are not good enough and they can only be good when they do a certain kind of task, when they only produce according to a certain temporal hierarchy. 8 hours a day, I have work, that's productive. If I don't work 8 hours a day, then maybe I'm not good enough. That kind of thinking, it doesn't come naturally. It comes as a result of coping with certain traumatic experiences, right? Overwhelming experiences of burnout, growing up in families where we were made to feel that we were not good enough if we did not score a certain rank or didn't get a certain position, right? From there it comes over a period of time. And I'm able to not do that because I know what I am thinking. I'm aware of my thoughts at this moment. And this awareness is what I am going to talk a lot. I'm going to coach a lot basically in the upcoming masterclass, which is the greatest abundance secret. The only thought model you need in order to make money. Hi, hello, scented box. Thank you. And that starts from my awareness of what I'm thinking. So I want to encourage all of you that how do you know that the thought that you are thinking, oh, my partner is typing right here that, sir, please come for dinner. So I'm going to go for dinner soon. So give me another 2 minutes and then I'll go. He's doing a joke, by the way. So for you to be aware of your own thoughts, you have to be in touch with your body. You have to be in total awareness of yourself. You have to know what you are thinking, even to write that down on paper, that this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that I should not be getting out of bed because I am exhausted. That's my thought. And that will lead to the next thought, basically, right? And I cannot have access to that thought without knowing exactly what I am feeling, right? And that if it's a valid thought or not. If it's a thought that helps me to create the result that I want to create, or it's a thought that doesn't allow me to create the result that I want to create, right? Tomorrow when you decide that you are going to see that client, get on a discovery call, get on a consultation call and motivate them to join your healing, join your coaching work. And if you feel exhausted or if you feel tired and if you do not have access to those thoughts by which you can actually inspire yourself to go and do that work, well, you will not create the result that you want to create, which is you will not sign up the client, right? The money is not going to come to you. So there is a whole model that I'm going to teach how your thoughts create the reality you are looking to create. A lot of people will tell you that circumstances are something that we cannot change. Things that are going to happen, that are going to happen. You do not have control over anything. But I'm telling you that it is actually your thoughts that create your reality. And it doesn't matter, that part is true, that it doesn't matter whatever happens in your circumstance. You remain unaffected simply because you come to realize that I have access to my own thoughts. When I put them down on paper, I know what I'm thinking. Then I can actually propel myself to think in the direction that I need to think so that I create the result that I am going to create, that I wish for, right? And along with that, many other things I'll be talking about in the masterclass. If you have still not joined the masterclass yet, there is a week's time. I'm doing it next Saturday, and today is Saturday. Next Saturday is 30th of July at 5 p.m. IST. I'm going to do this class. So all you need to do is go to the link in my bio. The first tab that you will get is join the masterclass. Just go there. Just go there, click on the tab. The cost of the classes, the price of the class is 2,500 rupees. And so you only need to pay up, sign up, and that's it. And I will see you next Saturday inside the class. See you all. Thank you. I'm going for dinner now. Bye-bye.